Some men chase intelligence by collecting degrees and quoting books, but wisdom, true wisdom, lives in what you do every single day. It's not about how much you know, but how clearly you think, how calmly you respond, and how consistently you act with intention. This video isn't here to give you motivation that fades tomorrow. It's built to hand you 5 quiet, practical, and timeless Stoic habits that sharpen the mind and strengthen your emotional discipline without needing anyone's approval. These are daily Stoic practices designed for real life. You don't need to change who you are. You only need to return to what you've always had: stillness, focus, and self-control. From building quiet routines to mastering emotional reactions, we'll walk through small habits that create a powerful shift in how you think, act, and lead. If you've ever felt like your energy is scattered or your mind is pulled in too many directions, these habits will help you build mental strength, reclaim your focus, and protect your peace. They're simple, but they're not easy, and that's what makes them transformative. So if you're ready to live smarter, not louder, start here. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs this reminder. Quiet power isn't built in noise, it's built in habit. And habit starts today. 1. Start your day with mental stillness. Most men wake up and immediately reach for chaos: emails, headlines, group chats, stock tickers. The day hasn't even begun, and already their minds are under attack. But a Stoic man doesn't let the world speak before his own mind does. He begins in silence, not because it's convenient, but because it's necessary. To master your energy, you must first stop letting others direct it. This is the quiet habit of mental stillness. A few minutes each morning where nothing enters, nothing escapes. No phone, no noise, no reactions, just space. Just you. Mental stillness is not meditation, it's not spiritual fluff. It's control. It's preparation. The modern world rewards speed and reaction, but Stoic wisdom teaches something harder: deliberate clarity. When you begin your morning without consumption, you give your brain time to organize, to breathe, to anchor. Think of it like walking into a war room before the battle starts. You assess, you observe, you lead. Without that, you're just another man being pulled in 5 directions before his coffee is even ready. Too many people start the day letting their emotions dictate their schedule. A notification triggers a worry, a headline triggers a rant, a text triggers urgency, and within minutes, you're no longer steering your mind, you're being steered by it. Marcus Aurelius didn't begin his mornings chasing productivity apps. He began with his thoughts. He sat with them. He trained them. He wrote to himself, not for the world to read, but to hold himself accountable to reason. That's what mental stillness gives you. A moment to check yourself before the world checks you. Try this. Tomorrow morning, before you touch your phone, sit up straight. Let your feet touch the floor. Close your eyes for 2 minutes. Don't do anything. Don't think on purpose. Just notice what surfaces. Breathe slowly. That's it. This is how you reclaim your mental clarity, one morning at a time. This is how you sharpen your emotional discipline without saying a word. In a world of noise, stillness becomes your armor. And once you master that first 5 minutes, the rest of your day bends around your control, not the other way around. 2. Read one thing that challenges you. Most men read to confirm what they already believe. They scroll past headlines they don't like, close books that disagree with them, and surround themselves with content that soothes, not sharpens. But the mind doesn't grow in comfort, it grows through friction. That's why a Stoic man doesn't read to feel right. He reads to think harder, see wider, and understand deeper, even if the words oppose his instincts. Mental strength isn't just about silence. It's about stretching your perspective without breaking your center. Reading something that challenges you is not an exercise in agreement. It's an exercise in self-mastery. When you engage with a viewpoint you dislike, not to argue but to understand, you build the kind of resilience that makes your mind unshakable. Most people today are mentally fragile because they've built an echo chamber, not a fortress. They mistake reinforcement for wisdom. But a Stoic man knows better. He knows that wisdom requires tension, and tension builds clarity. Think of a man sitting on his porch in the early morning, coffee in hand. He opens a book that contradicts his beliefs about politics, masculinity, or life purpose. Instead of scoffing or slamming it shut, he reads the page slowly. He doesn't flinch, he observes. That's a strength. That's quite confident. That's how you train your mind not just to react, but to reason. Seneca didn't write only to agree with his own thoughts. He challenged himself through dialogue, even with ideas he detested. Because real clarity doesn't hide, it confronts. You don't have to read an entire book, just one article, one page, one quote. Make it something you'd normally scroll past. Sit with it. Ask yourself why it bothers you. Why does it pull at your gut? That moment of discomfort is not weakness. It's the beginning of awareness. That's how you stop living on mental autopilot and begin to reclaim emotional self-control. If your goal is to build mental strength, to think like a Stoic, then you must learn how to face unfamiliar thoughts without retreating. Wisdom isn't found in the familiar. It waits in the discomfort most men avoid. And every time you lean into it, your mind gets sharper, quieter, and stronger. That's the kind of intelligence no one can take from you. 3. Reflect before you react. Anger feels fast. It arrives before you ask for it and speaks before you think. That's why most men fall into the same trap, reacting before reflecting. One rude comment, one disrespectful tone, and they fire back. Not because it's wise, but because it's instinct. But a Stoic man doesn't obey impulse. He creates space between the trigger and the response. That space is everything. It's where clarity lives, where power begins, and where emotional self-control turns into quiet strength. To reflect before you react doesn't mean to suppress your feelings. It means to lead them. It means knowing that just because something stings doesn't mean it deserves your full attention. Most men confuse loudness with power. But true power is found in the pause, in the moment you decide whether a reaction is even worth your energy. When Marcus Aurelius was attacked by betrayal and stress, he didn't lash out. He wrote, he questioned himself. He turned inward before facing outward. That's how he ruled an empire. Not with volume, but with calm authority. Picture yourself in traffic. A man cuts you off, flips you off, and speeds ahead. Everything in you wants to chase, shout, and prove a point. But instead your grip loosens. You stay quiet. You say nothing. You move on. That decision, repeated over the years, rewires the brain. It builds mental discipline that can't be shaken by petty people or temporary chaos. Reflecting doesn't mean avoiding conflict. It means choosing it only when necessary, and never from a place of ego. So the next time your heart races or your jaw tightens, pause. Breathe slowly. Ask yourself one quiet question. Is this worth my peace? If it is, act with strategy. If it isn't, walk away like a man who doesn't trade his power for validation. That's the Stoic way to respond, not react. That's how you protect your energy, stay calm under pressure, and sharpen your emotional self-control day by day. You don't need more words, you need more space. And in that space, you become untouchable. 4. Fix one small thing every day. A cluttered drawer, a squeaky door hinge, a burnt-out bulb in the hallway. Most men walk past these things without thinking, telling themselves they'll get to it later. But later rarely comes. And over time, small disorder becomes mental noise. The Stoics believed that how you tend to your surroundings reflects how you tend to your mind. Fixing one small thing each day isn't about productivity. It's about discipline. It's about showing yourself that you still lead your life, that you still move with quiet control. Many fall into the trap of thinking that real change must be dramatic. They wait for motivation, for a major reset, for the perfect conditions to take action. But that mindset weakens you. It teaches passivity. A Stoic man doesn't wait for the big moment. He acts in small, deliberate motions. When Marcus Aurelius wrote about controlling the self, he wasn't writing from a mountaintop. He was writing between battles, intense, with distractions everywhere. Still, he centered himself through order and duty, even in the most basic things. That's what makes this habit powerful. Fixing something small builds momentum. It's proof that you're not idle, that you still have control over the things within your reach. Picture a man walking into his garage. He notices the tools aren't where they should be. Instead of complaining or saying someday, he puts one wrench back. That's it. No announcement, no checklist, just action. And that tiny gesture creates clarity, not just on the workbench, but in the brain. Each time you complete a small task, you send a message to yourself. I follow through. I bring order. I'm not overwhelmed. I'm focused. The mind responds to action. And daily, intentional tasks keep your energy aligned. You don't need to fix your entire house. Just tighten one screw. Organize one shelf, shave 1 minute off your routine. These acts may seem small, but they build the foundation for bigger discipline. In a world where so many men feel out of control, this habit restores quiet power. When the world feels chaotic, don't reach for escape, reach for the wrench. Fix what you can. Move with intention. That's how you rebuild clarity, not in noise, but in motion. 5. Speak less, mean more. Some men speak to be heard. Others speak to be understood, but the wisest men often speak the least. Not out of fear, not out of passivity, but because they know words carry weight, and weight must be earned. In a world addicted to noise, where opinions are thrown around like confetti, the man who controls his tongue commands quiet respect. To speak less but mean more is not weakness. It's a strength. It's focus. It's a form of self-respect that trains your mind to rise above impulse. Most men think they're being ignored because they're not loud enough, so they talk more, argue harder, and over-explain. But that's not clarity, that's desperation, and desperation clouds your authority. When you feel the urge to respond instantly, to defend, to prove, you've already given power away. A Stoic man speaks only when it improves silence. His words are not reactions, they're reflections. Seneca wrote that a wise man is known more by what he withholds than by what he shares. You don't need to announce everything. You need to mean what you say and say only what matters. Picture an older man at a dinner table. His son vents, his wife critiques, his friend tells a wild story. He listens, he watches. Then he says one thing, calm, short, and sharp. The room goes quiet, not because he raised his voice, but because he didn't waste a single word. That's how influence works, through presence, not volume, through stillness, not chaos, and through words that are rare enough to matter. Practice this. Today, in one conversation, say half of what you usually would. Let silence fill the space. Notice how others lean in, how your words land heavier. Don't rush to fill the gaps. Let them sit. Let them breathe. This habit sharpens your thinking. It builds a quiet power mindset that no argument can touch. When you master your voice, you master your presence. And presence, not persuasion, is what changes rooms. Speak less means more. That's how you stop being overlooked. That's how you earn respect without asking for it. And that's how a Stoic man leads, not by dominating noise, but by controlling his signal. One precise word at a time. Wisdom doesn't arrive all at once. It's shaped in silence, built through habits, and tested in the quiet hours when no one is watching. The 5 Stoic habits we explored: starting your day with stillness, reading beyond your comfort, reflecting before reacting, fixing what's in front of you, and speaking with intention, are not just routines, they are tools. Tools that sharpen your mental clarity, deepen your emotional discipline, and help you lead with presence instead of noise. In a world full of distractions and reactions, these habits help you slow down, stay grounded, and choose your actions with purpose. You don't need more information. You need stronger filters. You don't need constant motivation. You need a daily commitment. And most of all, you don't need to become someone else. You need to return to the calm, focused, and capable man you've always had inside you. These practices are not about perfection. They're about alignment. Alignment with your values, your vision, and your energy. Every day is another chance to build mental strength, to stay calm in chaos, and to lead yourself with clarity instead of confusion. Start small, stay consistent. 1 page read, 1 moment of silence, 1 repair made, 1 fewer words spoken. These acts may seem invisible to the world, but they shape who you become when the world pushes back. So take these habits and live them. Let them guide your choices, sharpen your thoughts, and anchor your spirit. Share your journey in the comments, your struggles, your insights, your shifts. The path to quiet mastery doesn't need to be walked alone. And if you revisit this video tomorrow or a month from now, let it be a reminder. Real strength is quiet, disciplined, and practiced every single day.